Good afternoon, everyone. Warm greetings to all respected dignitaries, faculty members, students, and participants who join us today for the lecture. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the fourth lecture of Professor M N Parmar Lecture Series, organized by the team of Professor M N Parmar Lecture Series. This lecture series is conceptualized to honor the invaluable contribution of Professor M N Parmar, currently Dean Faculty of Social Work, Pavel University, and to promote the academic dialogue and inspiration among the scholars, practitioners, and students of the social work. Uh, if we talk about the today's lecture theme, today's lecture mainly focus on the social work and grassroots democracy, a subject that deeply resonates with the more core value of social work, participation, empowerment, and inclusive development. Now going forward, now I am invite Dr. Ashwin Patel to introduce our today's dignitaries and keynote speakers. Please, Ashwin sir, over to you.
Thank you, sir. I'm honored and privileged to introduce today's speaker. Uh, Professor Ramesh Jare sir is a renowned academician and researcher in social work. He completed his master's from TIS Mumbai and his PhD from Nasik, Maharashtra. Uh, Jare sir held many prestigious positions in the Mumbai as former campus director TIS, professor and deputy director Tuljapur off campus. As sir has international visit and international collaborators in academic, sir visit Kabul University for academic contribution and Galway University, Sweden for the academic and curriculum development. Along with that, sir have a long academic contribution. If I have going to read, I think it's take 25 minutes. But in short, I will summarize the introduction of the sir. Sir is a member of professional bodies at various levels. In BO, sir is a chairman of hold the chairman of BOS in Tuljapur, member of BOS in Savitribai Phule University, member of BOS in Aurangabad, Maharashtra, Board of Studies member, Solapur University, Maharashtra. Sir, as TIS is known for the organized various FDP seminar, international seminar, and all organization behind this is Ramesh Jare sir. So Jare sir is organized more than 20 FDPs and more than 50 seminars and a national and international seminar to the campus and to his own record. Talking about the expert appointment, sir is the master assessor of PRI by NIRDPR Hyderabad and invited as an external expert for academic audit by Mahatma Gandhi Mission University, Maharashtra. Sir contribute in the various development of the various courses in the Maharashtra. I have a number of courses listed in the sir's diary that I think on almost 10 courses in various universities sir have contributed in development of the curriculum and course in the various universities. Talking about the publication of Ramesh Jare sir, sir have published more than 6 books and more than 50 research publications at national and international levels. Sir have worked on the report that almost 6 reports have submitted to the government at various levels. Sir is a member of advisory committee to ICSSR New Delhi. Apart from that, sir have a vast interest and experience on PRA, which I know by myself when I was in the FDP at Tuljapur. I have practically experienced the PRA technique of sir. So, sir, I welcome you all to the fourth lecture series of Professor M N Parmar, sir. Now, hand over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ashwin.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for that very beautiful introduction of mine. And I congratulate Professor Parmar sir for having this lecture series. Very few people get this kind of opportunity and honor by the students. His own students are have organized this lecture series. It's a really great thing that Otherwise, students we teach whole life, and students when they go back, they forget it. They don't remember. But it's a great honor to the teacher that there his own students has now organized this. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, hello.
Yes, sir. You are
Ah,
audible, sir.
okay, yeah. So, and it's my honor that I have been invited for this lecture series and the fourth lecture I'm giving here. Please, there is some disturbances.
Yes, sir. So, just a second, sir. Narendra, sir, kindly switch off the mic
Yes.
of Pritesh Patel.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Please continue, Jare, sir.
Yeah. So Professor Parmar sir is a great scholar, and apart from that, he is also my good friend. Last time I have visited, and before that also we have been in touch with for various assignments, various academic discussions, and so we become very close, and his academic contribution to Baroda School of Social Work is everyone remember in the country and abroad. So I'm very honored that I've been invited for this lecture, and I thank to the committee that they have given me opportunity to uh, deliver this lecture today on Professor Parmar M N Parmar lecture series, and the fourth lecture I'm giving today. So this is what I feel that whenever we go to talk about social work, we have social work very very a noble profession. I would say that very few people get opportunity to contribute in this profession. So we are all those who join here in this and series that they will definitely are making change in the society. Today's theme also like that, like I have chosen the themes and this, I discussed with that, social work and grassroots democracy. So make it full screen, Satish, make it a full screen करो ना और थोड़ा बड़ा करो.
Now it's visible.
हाँ, but you can also make little bit bigger than this. थोड़ा बड़ा हो सकता है ना.
Satish, sir, F5.
हाँ.
Done.
Now it's
Okay. Yeah. So today's lecture, I'm going to discuss about social work and grassroots democracy. As you know that I'm a professional social worker. I have passed out from TISS long back, and then after that I joined Tujapur campus. When I joined Tujapur campus, uh, it's basically we started with the field action program. We started with the field action program, and that to work with the communities. The moment I started working with community, I realized that the panchayat, uh, this you know who is Vivek Vasava. Hello, Yeah. So for last 30 more than 30 years, I have been working in contact with, I have also directly worked with the rural communities. And I realized that, the most important institution in the rural area, in the villages, is a Panchayati Raj, and that's a local self-governance. So when I started working, I have number of villages I have empowered the grassroots level sarpanch, then the members, then strengthening of Gram Sabha members. So that was the beginning as a part of field action program which I was involved. And then I also did my PhD on the same topic. My topic was, political participation of Dalits in Panchayati Raj institutions. This was a topic, and I have also published a book on my PhD on the similar topic. So basically, I'm talking about after 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, what are the changes has taken place in the rural structure? What are the changes has taken place, and what are the problems that the people are facing, particularly after reservation? Um, there are 22% SC, ST, and OBCs are now on the power. They are on the executive position, and also women. 50% women are there. So I did my first research on Panchayati Raj institutions, that motion of no confidence against women and Dal Sarpanch long back. When Panchayati Raj institutions are implemented after 1973rd Constitutional Amendment of Act after 1993, there were so many motion confidence of motion against Dalit and women Sarpanch. Why this motion of no confidence were passed out in Panchayati Raj institution? That is because these people were not accepted in the Panchayati Raj, in the Gram Panchayat um, by the other caste, other community people, and that was the problem they were facing, and that is how I wrote a very good report and submitted to government of Maharashtra. I have made some certain recommendation when before you passing the reservation, passing the motion of no confidence and removing the sarpanch from their position, the government should take the action, and that is how earlier the policy level change which I propose and that is accepted, that earlier within 6 months the motion of confidence were implemented. But then I recommended that these people at least should get opportunity to work there for 2 years, and this was accepted. So this is how certain things which we have done through this my work, and today I'm going to talk about on the same aspect. Basically, when we say social work, we have been basically talking about this broader definition, which is defined the social work by IFSW conference in 2014. This is the International Federation of Social Work. 2014 has defined. I will discuss about around this theme only, around this definition only, how we perceive social work, how we practice social work, and how we terrorize social work. So from this definition, we get to know that the social work is basically a practice-based profession, and it promotes social change. It's also committed to development. It's also committed to social cohesion, empowerment, liberation of people, and social justice, human rights, and it is also practicing using indigenous knowledge, and it's committed to well-being of people. So this is how, from this definition, we get to know that many things, very broad aspects. And if you see, along with this, if you see our constitution, most of the things are there in our constitution if we talk about the social work and the constitution of India. Next one. And we talk about next one, Satish. Satish, next slide.
Yes,
Next.
Next. Huh. So, if we talk about the grassroots panchayat raj institutions or the local self governance, basically we say it's a Gandhian vision, power to rural communities. And all of you know that Gandhi was talking about Gram Swaraj or self governance villages, and in other terms, people call it the Ram Rajya. Everything will be available in the village, and that is why Gandhiji was talking about the Ram Raja or Gram Swaraj, and then this kind of background was there for forming 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. I will not go big history about Panchayat Raj, how it is started the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, but all of you know that so the Gandhian vision about Gram Swaraj is, practically wanted to practice through 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act in the rural area. And this 73rd Constitutional Amendment, I'm not going to talk much about 74th Constitutional Amendment Act because it relates to urban governance. We are only talking about rural governance today. So it has an emphasis on decentralization, people's participation, and empowerment. And particularly, we're talking about marginalized groups, SC, ST, and women and minorities. So, what has been decentralized? What is the people's participation, and what is the empowerment? These three concepts are very important as far as grassroots democracy is concerned for us. When we say next, when we say decentralization, what has been decentralization? The power has been decentralized. Yes, we can say through reservation. That those 22% reservation, 22.5 reservation to SC, ST, 33% reservation to women and OBC, 27% reservation. Through this, the power has been decentralization. People's participation, this is another important recommendation of 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act is that, mandatory Gram Sabha. The Gram Sabha has been given the constitutional status. And you know that, when you give the constitutional status, it is a mandatory for the panchayat to conduct the Gram Sabha, minimum Gram Sabha. If they don't conduct the minimum Gram Sabha, they will be removed from their position. And that is how through Gram Sabha, people's participation increase. Huh. Okay. Yeah. So this is how one can say the people's participation has been increased. And empowerment. Empowerment is basically it is whole exercise, the giving power to the people, giving power to the SC, ST women. It's basically process of empowerment. Through this power in the decentralized communities, decentralized governance, the people are empowered. Next one, Satish. Yeah. So, the panchayat neither had a common format. Earlier, if you see the history before 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, you can see that the panchayats were different setups in different states. Particularly, there were also two tiers system in some states. There were also problem of many states. The Gram Panchayat was not having any funds. Many panchayats, the elections were not held in the states of Gram Panchayat, and the Gram Panchayat only one family in one village, they were running the position of server. So these kind of problems were there. But it was a part of Article 40 that the directive principle of state policies that has created space for panchayat to state to form the panchayat. But it was not a part of main text of the constitution, and that's why the states were not very serious about panchayati raj, and it was a kind of neglected subject. But 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, we can say that after 70th, lot of it is one of the revolutionary amendment, I would say that and that was so it is a mandatory process that 73rd Constitutional Amendment, and that is made uniform kind of system that no two-tier of system, no two-tier of Panchayati Raj or one tier of Panchayati Raj, and all the states, all the unions that everywhere it is accepted and it is mandatory, it is made mandatory that three-tier system will be practiced in all the states. So this is the uniformity after 73rd amendment. We can say that it has made in the country after 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. Next one. Next one, huh? So, besides reservation seats for SC, ST in proportion to their proposed population given state, a mandatory one-third of seats to be given reserved for women. That is what I said in the beginning. And now it is that it is not only one-third, but in some states it is already there in the 50%. In the some states you can see that practice, like including Maharashtra. The system of reservation for specific category was ensure that the panchayat not only function as a local democratic institution but also help include value of representation, inclusion, and diversity. So this is what the reservation has done. Yes, it has given representation to all the communities. Now it is not only the higher caste, it's not only the landlord, it's not only a particular dominant caste of that state, but representation to each and every category, including women, has been given. It is an inclusion, it's kind of inclusion that everyone can participate, all the categories of the people. And that is how one can see that it is a diversity. And what 73rd Constitutional Amendment talks about is the diversity, and that is how it has been achieved and practiced in the country. Mandatory Gram Sabha, Gram Sabha is basically, I would say, it is a forum where it is the only forum, I would say that where direct democracy is practiced. Why I am saying this? Because in all other forums, our representatives are, we choose our representative, we elect our representative for those forums, and we are not getting opportunity, the village people are not getting opportunity to directly raise their issues. But Gram Sabha is the only forum where people can directly participate in that session, and they raise their question, and then that is how the debate is taking place. And that is why Gram Sabha has been given the very important in the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. In fact, we don't have much time to talk about Gram Sabha, but Gram Sabha is the forum where all the beneficiaries has been, the list of the beneficiaries decided, the priorities has been decided, the funds allocation has been decided, and the plan, the micro level plan, the village level plan has been finalized by the Gram Sabha. Even the beneficiary list and prioritization of the beneficiary has been discussed in the Gram Sabha and finalized. So it is basically, if you talk about panchayat, village panchayat and Gram Sabha, village panchayat is a executive body, whereas Gram Sabha is a decision-making body. So Gram Sabha is a decision-making body, and whatever the decision has been made in the Gram Sabha, that has to be implemented by the panchayat. In that sense, Gram Sabha has been given the very high status in the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. But what is the status and what is the role of social worker is that unless, and in my study I found that, though it is 10 years back, that what I did my research, my PhD thesis 15 years back, but I found that, in 80% villages in that time, I found that the Gram Sabha do not take place. So this is a challenge for social worker. Why Gram Sabha do not take place? There are many reasons, but I would say that, the Gram Sabha do not take place because still there is a constitutionally created panchayat and traditionally created panchayat. These two panchayats are still existing. So constitutionally created panchayat by 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act and traditional panchayat by the village dominant group, that is still existing, and that group is basically dominates the constitutionally created panchayat. And that is why the social worker has to, why Gram Sabha is not taking place, has to empower the Gram Sabha. The empowering Gram Sabha is very important. Empowering means making people aware about the Gram Sabha, because people feel that, nothing is discussed in the Gram Sabha. We are not given the opportunity to discuss in the Gram Sabha. Our issues are not solved by Gram Sabha. Our issues are not discussed by Gram Sabha. So why to go to our Gram Sabha? Why to grow to Gram Sabha? But you know that if people are coming to the Gram Sabha, they can demand for their issues. So empowerment of Gram Sabha is the role of social workers. So make people aware about, attending Gram Sabha, raising their issues and addressing their issues will be the role of social workers, so that, once people go there in the Gram Sabha, they can discuss the issues, issues what the people face in day-to-day life. Next one. So how is it work? The Panchayat Raj system certainly does not function as it was initially imagined by Gandhi. Of course, when Gandhi was talking about Gram Swaraj and Panchayat Raj, it has many flaws. Gandhi was thinking about, village as a whole unit, village as a homogeneous unit, that, everyone will be supported. But no, there are issues, there are problems in the village. Village is not a homogeneous unit. Village is a heterogeneous unit by different castes, different communities, and that is creating problem. And that is where the role of social worker comes. That, all the people which we were talking about inclusion, how all the people can play an important role in Panchayati Raj system. So it has not been major source of social change and political democratization. So yes, it is, panchayat is not only so that, the social change. We can imagine that, we are expecting so much from the, and that is what, when constitutional, when we were framing the 73rd and 74th Amendment Act, they said that, this system of Panchayat Raj will actually, will be the tool for social change and political democratization. But it is not actually fully practiced, and it is not practicing. It is not seen that, the whole thing is happening there. So that is why one cannot say that, the Panchayat Raj is a major source for social change and political democratization. Next one. Yes, interestingly, the timing of 73rd Amendment coincide with, though we can say that, Zotka has observed that, the caste power and a steady process of the fading out of the traditional rural patriarchy, losing. Yes, in some corner of the country that, after 1990 90s decade, slowly caste power has been losing. But that you can give some credit to the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, but that is the coincidence. And also one can see that, at the same time, economic reform has taken place, and social movements has a big role to loosening the caste power structure and rural patriarchy. They were working on these aspects, and that's why it is the sum of all the efforts of economic reform, then the social movements, political movements, then the movements by Dalit communities, movement by women's community. But same thing happened in that decade, and that is why one can say also that in the same time 73rd Constitutional Amendment has taken place, but not in all the corner. We know there are many places that the caste structure and caste rigidity and the patriarchy is still existing, and that is why the role of social worker becomes very important. I know that I'm also aware that social worker has a very limited role on this aspect. The moment you talk about the caste system, the people don't accept that the professional social worker is talking about the structure of the village, and structure of the village, because still the village is dominated by the upper caste communities, and that is why they only say that you talk about the development, you talk about the development, we don't talk about our religion, our caste, our culture, and that is how maybe in some part caste power structure is losing its hold, but in not all the corners of the country. In some places, particularly if I talk about my area of Marathwada, it is socio-economically still very backward. Some people are still, the Dalits are not able to enter into temples, and untouchability is still practiced in some of the temples. So this is how an operation is taking place. I would say that recently I finished my study on caste atrocities in Marathwada region, and I found that there are the caste atrocities has been increased in this area, and the reason is the caste discrimination and the assertion of the belief. So atrocities are taking place, and one can say very pathetic situation about the judiciary, that not even a 5% cases have been addressed and give got the justice to those people who are face the atrocity, those who are the victims of the atrocity. So this is also the situation in the country. In fact, one can say that 73rd Amendment Act is as a tool for people to come to the power, but at the same time, that is also the fact that some of the groups did not like, and they are feeling that this empowerment of the race is somehow is a challenging their power structure, and that's why both the side the situation is somehow, so in some villages, of course in some villages you can see that conflict is taking place. Next one. So this is one area of for social worker to work on. So during the early, how much time? Still, okay. During the early years after independence, it would okay. Now this is one can say the positive aspect of 73rd Amendment Act, that Dalit women can become sarpanch. At the same time, Dalit men also got opportunity. So 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, particularly the reservation of the topic point of reservation 70 to SC, ST and women. It's a great achievement, and at least they could able to reach up to that level. And some of them, next one, some of them are really making a lot of change within the system, and particularly some younger women. I can say that some younger women as a sarpanch, they coming forward, they're making change, and you can see that some villages are really taking shape, and some villages are ideal villages in the through the panchayat Raj institutions, and one can also give credit to for last I would say 10 to 11 years. This is after 2014, this is one positive thing I would say that 2014 we are implementing 14th Finance Commission. So 14th Finance Commission is providing direct money to the funds to the panchayat. So I remember one important scheme that GPTP, Gram Panchayat Development Program, that gives direct funds to the people, that through that scheme now each gram panchayat is getting now lakhs of rupees. So now through that money the village people can plan for their development. So direct money is coming to the panchayat, but and people, those who are really smart enough, having the skill of planning and development, vision of development, they are making change in the village panchayat. So after 14, now every year the panchayat is getting direct money. Earlier the situation was very pathetic. Even they were not having the money to money for their paying for the salary of their peons. So today, but today if the gram panchayat, the village panchayat is having enough money and to do the development of the civic amenities, drinking water, and agriculture, and all other development in the villages. So this is the success of, I would say, after 2014 onwards, that the village is getting direct funds to the panchayat. Next one. Satish, next one. Hello. Uh, so what happens is that panchayats, there are some problems. Still, if you see the decentralization, decentralization, then we can see that whether really the panchayats are decentralized. The question is still there is a question mark, whether panchayat is decentralized or not decentralized, because you can see the situation. The panchayats hardly ever generate their own funds. In the name of the own funds, still panchayats are almost depend on the state funds. Sometimes your state funds and then the central funds. So whatever the schemes or programs are there by central government and state government, panchayat is basically become implementing agency. And since it is implementing agency, the schemes are designed by the state and the central government. It is not designed by the panchayat. It's not designed by the village people. So that is why, if it is not there, once it can be only said that they are not fully decentralized. They depend on the state funds, and therefore their needs could be different what the government designed the scheme. So their real needs are not actually addressed sometimes in some villages. So this is how one can say that decentralization, still there is a lot of hopes. There is a lot of hopes for the people. So funds allocation to the panchayats are all governed by the national and state government. That is what I said. Even when they work effectively, the village panchayats end up functioning as a primary instrumental of the state delivery, perhaps completely opposite of what they were visualized to do so. So this is what the drawbacks of panchayat Raj or decentralization is concerned. Next one. Yeah, and so the Kuldeep Mathur argues that the push for the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act also came from the international development agencies that were advising countries of the global south to prioritize good governance over politics of social transformation. This is what, some debate is going on now, whether we were really, our own people had demanded the decentralization, our own constitution, our own parliament has demanded though parliament has passed this thing, but from there was a pressure from international agencies to have this kind of governance system where social transformation will take frame, and some of these activities should be allocated to the people, and that is why we have actually implemented 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. Next one. Next. I will go now. The what social worker can do about this. So social workers, I would say, has a great role. They can play a role of awareness in and education. So educate people about their rights, about the Gram Sabha, about the duties, and how to. So I was talking about, empowerment of Gram Sabha. That is where they can say, talk about their rights, their duties, and entitlements. Say when they come for the Gram Sabha, they can raise the questions, they can talk about their funds, they can talk about their share. Unless they go there, they will not able to fully enjoy the fruits of 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. And that is why awareness, and that has to be done by the social worker. I always feel that, this Gram Sevak, what is his duty? What is his education? He is basically agriculture, sometimes graduate or diploma. Basically, some kind of, I feel that, at least they should be have the condition that, BSW person should be there, because the development officer or Gram Sevak, his job is organizing people. That is not happening, and that is why he only does the minuting, he does the clerical work, but he is not playing the role of Gram Sevak or village development as such, development officer as such. So social worker can really play this role and can conduct an awareness campaign on government scheme, social justice and development program, and political literacy. Political literacy is a very big term actually. It's a very big term. Political literacy start with making people aware about their rights about, voting, rights about the political part, uh, this knowledge about creating knowledge about the political party, their ideologies, ethos, and panchayati raj. So all this comes under political literacy, becoming a member of political party or not becoming a member of political party, or important having making them aware about the importance of voting, contesting the election. All that comes under political literacy. It's not political education, but it's a political literacy, and that is how, when it is there, the political literacy will make people aware about the Panchayati Raj institution, and they will attend the Gram Sabha. Next one, community mobilization. Yes, Gram Sabha I was talking about, local governance I was talking about, and collective identity and solidarity. This is what the community mobilizer can play a very important role at the village level, as a social worker. Next one, capacity building. Yes, of course. Through, when this representatives, we talk about, 73rd Constitutional Amendment, said 22.5% is CST, and women 50%. These people actually need constant training programs and their capacity building. Unless they are there on the power, they're sitting on their chair, but if they are not aware about the schemes, which particularly I'm talking about, suppose you are getting now, I found in some gram panchayat, some village panchayat, they are having 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs rupees in every year coming from the central government. But if they don't have a financial literacy, financial management, they are not able to actually implement the proper schemes in the villages. So prioritization of the issues, that is the actually little bit technical aspects and skillful job, and that is what the social worker can build the capacity of these people, and that is how they can strengthen the local institution. Next one. So advocacy and empowerment, which I was talking about, empowerment of Dalit and all those communities and minorities. Yes, social justice. Yes, this is also can be actually the role of social worker, where at village level they can, and they can talk about, educate about, facilitate the welfare schemes at the implemented by village panchayat at the village level. Next one. Next one. This is very important. Participatory planning, which I'm practically doing it. Participatory planning and development. The PRA tools, which I was talking about, I'm conducting faculty development programs on this. That through PRA you can do the bottom up of planning. Bottom up planning with using PRA tools, where people prioritize their problem. They come out with the problem. They come together. They come together. They make the plan. They submit the plan, and that is how the bottom up planning is visualized. So the real needs of the people will come through the bottom up planning. That is also called the micro planning of the village. And the social worker, I think, should play a great role, because this is the actually need of local self-governance bodies, and link between the social worker can create awareness among the panchayat, that he can become the link between government and community. So a role of facilitation is very important as far as social worker is concerned. Next one. Okay, yeah, the create social audit and social accountability. These are the tools we learn as a part of our curriculum. So social audit, the village community, the Gram Sabha members can audit the panchayat, can audit. So these are some of these schemes which we say that in MG Narega and PMAY, these are the Indira Awas, the Prime Minister's Housing Yojana scheme. That is the schemes that people, the community can play, and social audit tools and accountability skills can be given by social worker, and that is how one can create a transparency as village level, where you can encourage citizens to hold the local representatives accountable. Next one. Yeah. So this is how one can also play the role of conflict resolution and social cohesion. So there are conflict, caste conflict, resources, the conflict. Then you can create a peace, tolerance, and cooperation. So build trust between people and governance. That is how you, as a social worker, can play a great role if they have the vision and see that. I would say that next one. I would say that the the the, the panchayat, the local self-governance body. Next one. Next one. Next one. These are the skills we required. Next one. Next one. So I would say that the panchayat is the only body. I'm carefully using this sentence. Panchayat is the only body which is constitutionally created at the village level. Has a lot of importance, but the social worker should realize the importance of this, and they should work on. They should get alignment for rural development. That they should use this constitutional created body and empower and show the skill of social worker. Thank you very much once again for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Thank
much.
you very much, sir.
Thank,
It's a great honor.
thank you so much, sir, for that deeply enriching and thought-provoking lecture on grassroots democracy and its importance, and namely the uh, role of us as a social work professionals. So now we'll open the floor for the questions. Participants are requested to post a question in the chat box or can use the raise hand feature for the ask the question directly. Floor is open for questions, so you can ask.
Um, Ashwin or Satish? Yeah. You can take one or two questions. I have to also catch the train. I'm traveling actually today. So you can take one or two questions.
I think, sir, you have very beautifully presented and touched each and every aspect of the grassroots social work. So I think all things is clear to the audience. So
Yeah, maybe Panchayat Raj or local self-governance is the topic that everyone knows about it, but everyone does not know the nitty-gritty of it. When
yes,
they
yes, yes,
practice it, they will understand how difficult it is.
yes, sir.
In the classrooms, we teach all these things, but practically when they start using the scale of social worker, they understand that how difficult it is. Talking to Sarpanch, talking to Panchayat members, and having conducting a single Gram Sabha is a very difficult task. So that
Yes,
is where the social worker will realize that importance of this. And I feel that in somehow it is neglected. Social workers do not take much interest in because they feel it's a political body. उसमें क्या जरूरत है हमको करने की?
yes,
Political body हमको intervene नहीं करना चाहिए. But that is again I would say that is the only body at the village level. It is a constitutionally created body. It is constitutional credit. Everyone has a right over that body and they can raise the question. So that is why it is important. Social worker is they are working with the health system, they are working with the education system, they are working with the all other environmental culture. But social workers are not working with the panchayat. That is I found. The social workers are not working with the panchayat. They feel it's a political body. Why to go and disturb them? Or they will not allow to work with it. That is also seen that the social worker will not allowed by the panchayat to work with them. That is also ये भी आपको समझ में आएगा कि वो इजीली आपको एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि आप उधर जाएंगे तो उनको लगेगा कि ये हमारे सुपरविजन कर रहा है ये वॉच डॉग है इधर हम लोग काम नहीं कर पाएंगे इसलिए आपको एक्सेप्ट करेंगे ये भी नहीं इजीली हो सकेगा इसलिए आपको बहुत स्ट्रांग स्किल होना चाहिए कि आप जाए और काम करें.
So it is always joy to listen Professor Ramesh Jare sir, a very eminent personality, distinguished speaker, a prolific writer, and deep researcher. Today he has talked us very nicely on social work and grassroots democracy. Social work we all know. At the same time, why grassroots democracy is required? What are the efforts initiated in this direction and what is the role of professional social worker that Jarisab has talked very, very distinctly. If I talk about the democratic value practice, we need to have decentralization at all the level. At the same time, active participation is also required because we know that yet in the villages there are sarpanches from some communities, Dalit communities. They are not ready to sit on the chair or they are not ready to enter into the panchayat offices. So that is also a kind of a situation. But then now gradually it has changed. We need to see that active participation has to be there. Then sometimes shadow participation also. That suppose somebody is a member or a sarpanch, then on their behalf somebody else is participating. That is also not a good. So if we really want to enjoy the fruits of grassroots democracy, we need to have real active participation, accountability. Yes, accountability has to be there. When budget is given to you, the money is given to you, and if you are not accountable, perhaps money will go to particular groups or a particular people only. Empowerment is another area, and the responsive management is also required. Jarisab, let me tell you, we have top to bottom approach, and there is a problem because the top needs never match with community needs, and people don't get benefit. Instead of that, we should have bottom to top approach where the community needs and bureaucrat needs meets, and it can give good results to us. So somewhere we need to think about bottom to top approach which can help us. Another important thing which I see, that attitudinal change. Unless attitudinal change comes, the people will not enjoy. So let us change the attitude of the people, and we as a professional social worker need to work in this directions also. The self-esteem of the leaders is also very very down, sir, and sometimes they don't participate, they don't speak, or even they don't actively involve themselves in certain activities. So attitudinal change and self-esteem both need to be increased, both need to be changed, so that people participate very actively and get the fruits of amendment 73, 74, and also the grassroots democracy. So I'm extremely happy that today Professor Jarisab has spared his valuable time to talk on our the memory the lecture series. I'm thankful to Dr. Narendra Bhai because he is the architect of entire program and taking leads in organizing such program. I'm thankful to Amit, Bhavesh, Satish, Vikrant, all the participants and all my teacher colleagues and even my own teachers, that they are spending their valuable time in making this event very successful. Even all my PhD scholars also. So I'm thankful to Jarisab and all well-wishers who are part of this program. With this note, once again, thank you very much. Over to Bhavesh.
Thank you very much, Professor Parmar sir, for this insightful concluding remarks. Now I request Dr. Dinesh Chaudhary for the vote of thanks. Dinesh sir, over to you.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, Dinesh.
On behalf of uh, M N Parmar Lecture Series, today's मेरी ड्यूटी है कि आज मैं जो लेक्चर हुआ है उसका शुक्रिया अदा करूँ। फोर्थ लेक्चर सीरीज ऑफ प्रोफेसर M N परमार सर। सबसे पहले तो मैं परमार सर का शुक्रिया अदा करूंगा कि हमको इस लेक्चर सीरीज के साथ बहुत कुछ जानने को मिल रहा है हम, और बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिल रहा है। और आज जो सर ने बात की, प्रोफेसर रमेश जारे सर ने, जिन्होंने सोशल वर्क एंड ग्रासरूट डेमोक्रेसी, उसके थ्रू जो रूरल डेवलपमेंट की बात की, जिसमें गांधी आइडियाज, ग्राम स्वराज, फिर पंचायती राज, ग्राम सभा, और व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ सोशल वर्क, प्रोफेशनल सोशल वर्क, इसकी बात उन्होंने पेश की। जो एक सोशल वर्क के लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण होता है कि क्या क्या चीज़ें होती है, क्योंकि इस नई पीढ़ी के लिए ये जानना बहुत ज़रूरी है। क्योंकि सिलेबस में हम लोग पढ़ाते हैं, जो कुछ भी पढ़ते हैं वो सिलेबस से बाहर निकल के जो बहुत कुछ एक्सपीरियंस के थ्रू जानना मिलता है, वो बातें आज रमेश सर ने पेश की। इसके लिए मैं उनका बहुत तहे दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ। इवन जितने भी पार्टिसिपेंट हैं, एज ए फैकल्टी, एज ए स्टूडेंट्स, सबका मैं शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ। इसके साथ साथ जो टीम इस लेक्चर सीरीज में हेल्पफुल हो रही है, जो लोग जितना भी टेक्निकल सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, जो भी कर रहे हैं, उन सबका आज मैं शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ। और खास करके नरेंद्र भाई का शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ, जिन्होंने इस लेक्चर सीरीज को स्टार्ट करने की शुरुआत की। मैं उनका भी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ। Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dhiren, sir.
Yes.
So I also thank again to all the faculty members, coordinators, and participants for their active presence and engagement in today's lecture. Let us continue to learn, reflect, and contribute to strengthening the roots of democracy through our work in the social service and in community development. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining us today. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Bye.